Hi, Vicky at Smoothie Knots. Just to do some work on shoulders. This is particularly good for any shoulder impingement pain, rotator cuff injuries, or if you are suffering with some frozen shoulder. Now, obviously, depending on your degree of movement, it's going to depend on whether you can actually do the full range of these exercises or not. So we're going to start off with some pendulum swings. In this case, I'm actually doing work on this shoulder. So what we're going to do is going to lean over. We're just going to let the arm flop. And what you're going to do is you're going to move your body and just allow that arm to just swing freely. Now, obviously, with frozen shoulder, there may be issues with this. You can go round, clockwise, and anti-clockwise. You can swing one side and the other. The idea is to almost let it loosen out of its socket and just find its own free ranges of movement. With frozen shoulder, you probably can have restrictions actually sort of doing this, so your circles are going to be quite small. So that's pendulum swings. Do those for about a minute just to sort of warm the whole area up. The next one that I want you to do is lying on your back. We call these snow angels. Make sure your back's nice and flat into the floor, your palms are facing upwards, and try and get your shoulder blades flat to the floor. And what you're going to do is you're going to pretend that you're actually making a snow angel. So while you're doing this, you're trying to keep your shoulder blades flat to the floor the whole time. Now, there will be parts of that where you get a painful arc, and you may not be able to go any further. So you may get to about here, and actually that's too painful for you. If that's the case, then just sit here. Remember, you don't want these shoulders coming up off the floor. The idea is that you just sit there and actually have a breathe through. You should be testing, but not actually painful, and then coming back down again. If you can get all the way through and up, that's great. And then obviously coming back down again. So those are snow angels. Next one to do would be, if you've got a ball, something like any football will do. This is obviously quite a sort of flat ball. These ones are called scapular clocks. What you're going to do is put your arm out at 90 degrees. You can see that I'm actually standing perpendicular to the ball, that my shoulder is at roughly the same height as the ball, and my wrist is at 90 degrees. And what I'm going to do is, it's a very small movement, so my shoulder is back into its socket. So I'm not doing this with it, and I'm not doing this with it, but it's actually in a neutral position. And I'm going to just go up with the ball, down with the ball, back to the centre, across to the left, and across to the right. I can also do circles, going in a clockwise position and in an anti-clockwise position. Okay, so again, do those, and you can make those circles much bigger once you actually get, but to start with, when you do it, you'll do that for a short period of time, and that will actually be quite tough. Right, this is a really good one for supraspinator, so strengthening this muscle here. And again, you're going to stand 90 degrees to the wall, and all you're going to do is simply walk your fingers. I want to get in a little bit closer so you can see. You're going to walk your fingers up the wall, and then you're going to walk your fingers back down. Okay. You may get, again, if you've got impingement issues, you will get to a certain point where actually maybe that's too painful. Don't push it too hard. Just get to that point, walk up to it, and then walk back down again. Okay? Right. Next one will be with the TheraBand. Lots of different things that you can use for this TheraBand. If you've got something like this, it's great. If you haven't, then if you can get one online, or you can even give me a shout and I can send something through the post for you. Okay, so what you're going to do is, this is going to be our anchoring arm. So I'm exercising this left hand shoulder. So this shoulder is going to hold it tight, and if you find it's difficult to hold this tight with with the good arm, then what you can do is you can tie it onto something. So you could tie it onto here so that you've got some sort of fixed point. But what you're going to do is you're going to put something here underneath your arm. I'm using a pillow here because I haven't got anything else, but you could use a towel or something like that. I'm just going to hold the chair here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull the arm out. Now the idea is that I'm also having to squeeze that elbow into the side while I'm doing that. Because if I allow that elbow to come out to try and get the range, then what it's going to do is it's going to drop to the floor, and that's not what I want. Okay, so that's one thing. The next exercise is to obviously, so that's abduction, so taking the arm away from strengthening these muscles at the back here. The one to actually do the opposite is I'm going to I'm just going to try and think of this. So really what I want to do is I now want to put resistance in to actually bringing this arm across here. So I'm going to have to, let me just think about how I'm doing this. So what I want to do is I want to have that arm out at that angle. So I really need this attached to something. So exercising this left hand arm again, and what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be pulling the arm, I can't do that, I have to hold that. Okay, so I'm pulling this here, but what I want to do is I want to be pulling this across the body. Come around the front just to show. Yeah, so I'm squeezing, again I'm squeezing the towel to make sure that that doesn't come out from the side. Another exercise would be something called a dumb waiter. So holding the TheraBand nice and loosely in the hands, my shoulders are going to be back and down. So what I see a lot of people doing this to start with, are rolling the shoulders forward, and that's very good. I want them back and down, your shoulders as a start position. Your elbows are going to be tucked into your sides, bands held quite loosely with the palms facing upwards, and you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together to actually exercise these two muscles here, these rhomboids. I'll show you from behind. What we're going to do is elbows are in the side, shoulders are back and down, and I'm going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Hold for a couple of seconds and then come back down again. Now, common mistakes that people make with these is they just use their arms and they don't engage their shoulder blades, and the other thing they do is they start to do this with their neck as they're doing it. So just make sure you've got a nice neutral position. Stretches for shoulders. Once you've done those sort of workouts, you could even do these statically if you wanted to before you start doing these exercises. Would be standard shoulder stretches. So taking the arm across here like this. And these all should be held for about 30 seconds at a time, nice breathing through them. Arm up like this, stretching through the triceps. If you struggle to do that, and some people might do, put the arm up against a wall. Sometimes that helps, and that also gives you a nice down stretch down through that back and side there. So that's doing that one. Other stretches would be these ones coming across here, or again, if you're struggling to do that, you could do one that comes across here like this. Okay. The only other little thing that you could also do is if you're getting pain in the back of the shoulder blade and you think it's causing mobility issues here, you can get this ball up against the wall and you can open up your shoulder. You can use a tennis ball, doesn't have to be a spiky ball. Open up your shoulder and actually work that through. You can drop it down into any area that you think you might need to. Okay, so that's helped.
Brilliant.
Thanks.